Today we're going to look at one of the we's of the Pesach Seder. And here we have the word we standing for the W of what. Noticing what are we doing in our Jewish ritual. The E of we, an explanation. Why do we do this? What have we learned from it? All of the pieces of that. And then the we together is how does this relate to us today in the now? We in the year 2022, how do the words of the Torah, the way we live our Jewish lives, connect to us? So today we're going to look at the 4 glasses of wine that we drink at the Passover Seder. Now, we can stop and notice and wonder, or we can just chug them back. But if we stop and wonder and notice, it's interesting compared to on Shabbat, where we have 1 glass for Kiddush, and only one person needs to drink the 1 glass. But here we have 4 glasses, and every single person needs to have 4. So, what's the explanation? The most common answer for why there are 4 is it relates to the 4 phrases which Hashem uses to describe how he will save the Jewish people from their enslavement in Egypt. Vehotzeti, vehitzalti, vehitzalti. All right, so there we go. There is our explanation for why there are 4. But you don't really feel satisfied there, do you? And that is how it relates to the we. I think we today know more about this than we ever did historically in understanding the psychology of enslavement and freedom. Now, today when I'm talking about slavery, I don't mean the horrific macro level of people being oppressed in countries and societies around the world. It's a terrible thing. Right now, I'm talking on the micro level. So maybe you personally or a loved one has been enslaved in a relationship that is, well, like slavery. And that can be with a spouse or a significant other, a family member, a coworker, a boss, or even yourself. And when you are trapped in this situation, how do you get out? Now, I think that it might have seemed binary at some point. We were slaves in Egypt, and then we were free. The end. One, and then the other. But it's not like that, because if you've ever watched somebody, or you yourself has gone from that place, you realize it is not a 1-step process. It might be a 4-step process, and it might be a lot more than that. But right now I want to look at the 4 steps that Hashem describes and how they relate to you or your loved ones who have been trapped. The first word is vehotzeti, and that first step of escaping enslavement is actually deciding to escape it. And this is a mental commitment which, when someone's been in a toxic relationship, it really, or an addiction, whatever, it takes a really long time, and it's a major process and a major undertaking to decide, no, I'm done and I'm going to do something different. And so at the Seder, we'll drink to that, right? L'chaim. You've made this commitment, you've made this decision. Vehitzalti, the second step. Now you are actually physically removed from that situation, right? We physically left Egypt thanks to the divine, but in this situation you physically have left. You physically quit that job from the abusive employer. You've terminated that relationship that was so painful in which you were enslaved. So now you would think, well, that's that. You were, and now you are. But this is where anybody who's really been through that process knows, oh, wait, we got to drink to that. That's glass number 2. Then, vehotzeti, vehitzalti, velakachti. And I took you out. Well, but really, once you've left, to really know you're free, to really accept that you're no longer enmeshed in that situation, that's huge. To know I am a separate entity from where I was. I'm not just the spouse of that unfortunate relationship, and I am not just an employee of that person. I am my own self, or I am not just an addict. I am something separate. So we'll definitely drink to the mindset shift. This is in many ways an even harder mindset shift. I'm not going to be in the situation, but I am totally separate. So we'll drink to that. And now for our 4th glass. This is the journey that takes the longest, and that is finding your own self-worth, right? Vehotzeti, vehitzalti, vehitzalti. I will redeem you is how that translates for what Hashem does for us. And Hashem will help redeem us in this situation, but we have to really be empowered to say, not only am I not what I was, I am this amazing, huge other thing. I have my own self-worth. I am not enslaved. I am not trapped. I am amazing, and I'm this, and I'm that, and the other. And that piece of slavery is completely removed from me. There's actually, we'll drink to that. There's actually a fifth statement of redemption. But we don't have 5 glasses of wine at the seder, so I didn't name it. Although we kind of do. And that fifth phrase is tied to the cup of Elijah, Kos Eliyahu, on the table. And that is the spiritual potential of really being in a higher level, in a higher place. But I don't know if we're ready for that. So we'll drink our 4. We'll look at our personal enslavement and our efforts to become free from that. Every day, on Pesach, we celebrate our slavery in Egypt and our freedom. We actually recount this every day in our daily tefillah. Because once you were in a bad situation, no matter how much later it is, no matter how free you are, and how much you've been redeemed, you never truly shed what you were. And so we carry that with us thousands of years later, and it changes our identity as people. So, this Pesach Seder, I drink my 4 glasses, and I drink to you, l'chaim, for all of your personal enslavement and all the steps you've taken, empowered by the divine, to achieve your personal freedom.